Nucamp, this is Paul G and Adam, PGA, with my honors graduation project for Full Stack. Today I have for your consideration a guitar buying guide that breaks all the guitar components down to things like necks and bodies and bridges and pickups, and I think I'm doing a guitar model thing as well. Using an Express server with Mongoose ODM for modeling, Multer for uploads, cores. I've got Passport installed, not really using it quite yet. I don't have my front end login and all that built, so we're not quite ready there. I'm using a JSON server for half of it and then MongoDB for the rest for my database. This is originally a React project using essentially async await, using Redux. And let me show you the site real quick. Anybody who's been in any of the React classes with me has seen this a couple times. But got a fun carousel in front. I basically updated the CSS since I put this in for front end, and I added some of these borders, which it's kind of a cool little feature. It brightens the site up because it's a pretty dark site using all the blacks and blues. I also added a kind of a fun little transition effect here using keyframes. Still have the fun guitar flip, and the sitemap is it's kind of crazy how wild that gets. Got these drop downs for the guide directory, and then all of the different guide pages, and these borders on the cards get kind of out of hand. They're great. There's actually 3 GitHub repositories. This is the server one. I've got one this is the original guitar project for React, and then I've got a JSON server for this, and this probably should get pushed into one of them, but it's kind of a standalone right now. Using Postman, and this whole thing it's full crud on the 3 things that are actually stood up on Postman, stood up on Mongo, but it basically isn't quite there entirely. So we're basically on the front end still just mostly doing gets here. Here's some of the CSS for the site. It's kind of cool, and here's the front end with the keyframes. Since I last submitted this, I basically changed these slices a little bit. The thunks are a little different. I use a try-catch because that's a little better way to do awaits. You get kind of a double error handling for your promise rejects, and it saved me on some problems that we had. For the actual server, I haven't got the user stuff quite up yet, but I am right now running links for the sitemap, the carousel items, and essentially the contact page are all wired up. These are all coming out of the MongoDB stuff. The main difficulties I had were in trying to get these the front end and the back end, to talk to each other. And especially, 2 weeks before we did cores, I started having cross-origin resource sharing problems, and I was like, what is that? I don't even, and it just would have been great for us to have done that week too, but I spent about 3 days getting that all wired up and figured out, and it was kind of nice we went through it again so I could tweak this and make this a little bit more like we did at Nucamp. It was a little bit more comfortable. Let's see. Got the JSON server still, and any pictures I push up I'm actually hosting here in the public. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of like what we were doing, where we're basically putting it into our local folder. I'm just putting them into the folder over here and just scripting everything over. And I'm actually, kind of funnily enough, was pointing at the JSON server with some of the Mongo stuff to basically wire it in. Well, thanks a lot for your time, and I hope to see you at graduation.